Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Limitless Live, where we unlock the science and the soul of raising extraordinary humans, one powerful insight at a time. I am your host, Olga Binyaminov, an educator, a mentor, and a mother on a mission to transform the way we parent, the way we teach, and the way we lead. Today's episode is titled Discipline That Connects: The Secret to Better Behavior. And I want to begin with a question that every parent, every teacher, or any caregiver needs to deeply reflect on. What is the difference between discipline and punishment? Think about that for a moment, because how you answer and how you act on that answer shapes the emotional blueprint on your child's safety. Let's redefine discipline. Discipline comes from the Latin word disciplina, which means to teach. Punishment, on the other hand, comes from the word poena, which means pain or penalty. Children do better when they feel better. Positive discipline teaches. It builds that skill and values, and it focuses on connection before the correction. Punishment, on the other hand, controls. Punishment fuels this fear or shame, as opposed to just understanding. When a child feels safe, seen, and understood, their brain becomes receptive to learning. But when we lead with threats, with shame, the brain enters this defense mechanism, defense mode of flight, fight, or freeze. Connection is not permissiveness. It's an invitation for a relationship where boundaries exist within the actual foundation of respect and love. Now let's talk about strategies. What actually works when kids test limits? And we'll deal with situations where our kids just test our limits to see what would happen if they would do this or that. There are three types of consequences. Natural consequences are the actual outcome that the child gets. And let's be real. In real world, outcomes do the teaching. If your child forgot the homework, they will face that school consequence. There's no need for parental lecture for that. The logical type of consequence is the logical to follow what had happened. So your child spilled juice intentionally, have them clean it. If your child broke a toy because they were angry, that toy doesn't get to be replaced. That's a logical consequence. And the third type of consequence is really because of clear boundaries and empathy. You are allowed to be upset. You're just not allowed to take that to the next level. When we offer firmness with kindness, we teach children self-regulation. We teach them not based on fear and obedience, but based on love and kindness. Discipline that connects doesn't actually ignore behavior. It gets underneath the behavior. When the kid doesn't listen, when they act out, when they resist to certain things, they are not giving us a hard time. They are having a hard time. Behavior is communication, which most children don't have a skill of expressing otherwise. So the question is, are we listening? Start asking yourself, what is my child feeling? What skill are they missing? And how can I coach them without controlling them? This is how we raise not just compliant kids, but emotionally intelligent, self-aware, confident humans. Let's go back to my first focus question. What is the difference between discipline and punishment? And I hope now that you know the difference between control and correction and connection, you know discipline versus punishment. It's control versus connection. It's fear versus trust. It's short-term obedience versus long-term wisdom. So this week, I want you to ask yourself as you go through your parenting, do my discipline strategies reflect my values? Am I modeling emotional regulation or am I demanding it? And where can I connect more deeply before I start correcting? I will be talking about discipline in about 20 minutes. I have a guest that I'm hosting at 11 o'clock regarding punishments. Please tune in if you're available. And we'll talk more about all those punishment strategies. And over the next couple of weeks, which is still within the month of July, I will be focusing on parenting. I'll talk about rethinking this timeout strategy, and I'll offer alternative that actually works. And when kids don't listen, what is really happening? I'll talk about respectful parenting without actually losing the authority as a parent. Parenting doesn't come with license, and we're all still learning. Even though my oldest son is over 20, I am still learning to be a parent. If today's episode resonates with you, please share it with someone who just needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper, please reach out to me for workshops and coaching about parenting. And I do have a few other masterclasses coming up. Let's raise a generation that doesn't need to heal from their childhood. And if you know anything about neuro-linguistic programming, and if you've ever heard of this term that you have a childhood trauma, it's because of certain things that happened in your childhood that you were never healed from. So let's be parents with purpose and discipline them with heart. And until next time, stay limitless. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you in a little bit.